family life, his education, his training in Japan, his career in Thailand, and the various other facilities. Surendra Nostalgia.
Before I begin, can everyone just give a big round of applause to Apopan once again? So let's try to be as participative as possible. I would like the audience, anyone, to come up with any suggestion when you look at a picture on your my left and on your right. We'll start off with Apopan's opinion of Apopan's life. So as my father and mother have just said those things where I would always like to be independent and go by myself, and Apopan would always follow me around to the bus stop to drop me. I would keep looking back and trying not to, try to make sure that he's far away because I want to be independent. But Apopan would always come follow me and drop me to the bus stop. Until he actually sees me get to the bus, he just won't go away. So that's always my fondest memory of Apopan. And otherwise, father, such a doting person, he would never ever, after we see him, we could never not have a smile on our face. Because he's the love that comes from him, both in terms of just inner stuff and whatever he could provide for us, he's always done it. And that really is Apopan's life through some slides. Sure. So this is where Apopan was born. If you can just go to the first picture. Sure. This is where Apopan was born in Vaikim. Many of you have been, have been to the house. Some of you have heard of it for sure. This is Shankar Bhavan in Vaikim. He was born in August 1933 to a large family of 6 people. He had 2 brothers and 3 sisters. Apopan's father, there you go, you can see is here like Apopan. And Balakrishnan Nair Apopan was really the rock of the family, whom the eldest of the 6 siblings, whom everyone looked up to. After this, you will see his 3 sisters. That is Rajamma Mumma, Indira Mumma, and Radha Mumma. Radha Mumma and Dr. Indira Mumma are very much there. If I can ask Indira Mumma to please stand up. That's Indira Mumma. And Amumma is one of the most well-known doctors in Chaitala, big writing influence. Now the joke in the family, which my mother keeps telling me, is that Indira Mumma was so much younger than all of her other sisters that every time she would go to school in this, very handsome, very articulate, very hardworking, as he always is. And this is one of Apopan's role models, his maternal grandfather, Sri Aimanam Narayana Kaimal. The 2 of them shared a very special bond during his younger days, and he was a big inspiration for Apopan. And Apopan always looks back at him as a role model, a father figure, a second father figure during his younger days. Now this is a family of the proud parents, Apopan's father and mother, Sri Shankara Pillai and Janaki Amma, with Bhashi Kochichan and Vasnad Apopan. As you can see, this is the day of their engineering, where Valli Apopan had a lot of financial struggles when he was younger, and he really took it upon himself to educate the 6 children. 2 of them became engineers, 3 of them became, one of them became a scientist, and one of them, Indira Mumma, became a doctor. So it really goes to show Valli Apopan's dedication, despite meager salary at that time, to educate his 6 children to make them the people they were. This is the start of a long journey. Some of you have been working with Apopan in his Allen days. Some of you are closely associated from his Allen days. Apopan joined Allen in 1955, and he left Allen after 30 years, 3 decades in 85. He joined as a junior engineer and went on to become the managing director. So it really goes to show, the progress Apopan has made from his younger days after college, where he was a rank holder, and then going on in his Allen spiritual journey. This is the main gate at Kundra, where Apopan, my uncle Kanamavan, Amma, and many others have really gone and lived a lot of their lives in Kundra, as many of you all, I'm sure, and gone on to enjoy a great professional and personal journey. This is again another one of Apupan's moments in Ireland when he just joined. These are his superiors, his bosses joining him. Now if we can just hold it there. So Apupan, after he joined Ireland, one of his first assignments was he was sent on an industrial training session to Japan. And this is something which even I just came to know only last year through my sister, that just after Alan, he had gone and stayed in Japan for almost a year, where he was working with this company called Kokoku Koensaku. And if we can just go on in the next picture, these are some of his friends he met during Japan. Now this picture is one of the most iconic pictures in Apupan's life. Again, something that very few people know of. The gentleman on the right is Mr. Ito. Ito was the managing director of this company, Kokoku Koensaku. And the specialty is that to Apupan's right is Mr. If you can just go back to the previous picture. To Apupan's right is, Sharad? To Apupan's right is the daughter of Mr. Ito. And it so happened that Mr. Ito was so much in love with Apupan's work, his dedication, his persona, and his hard work, that he actually wanted Apupan to join the company and also marry his daughter. So that really goes to show Apupan's charm during his younger days. And the lady to her right is Mr. Ito's wife. Now these are again Apupan enjoying the Japanese hospitality. You can see some colleagues and friends who he has made over the years. Everyone, if any of you have questions, please, let's make it as interactive as possible. And this is again some of his fond younger moments in Japan, meeting Ito's family. These are some of his visits across Japan. Apupan is very socially very active right until this age, so you can imagine how he was then, meeting his Japanese colleagues. He also had the pleasure of meeting going to a lot of landmarks in Japan. The remains of World War II, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and here you can see him enjoying sometimes in the beaches. And in the next picture, you see him in Mount Fuji. Again, one of the most famous sites in Japan. Here you can see him getting a global exposure at the age of just 21 or 22. So right at that age, for his generation, the kind of exposure he had from his background speaks for the amount of hard work and sincerity that Apupan has always shown. This is his return to India when during his days at Allen, where after his Japanese adventure, he's again come back and taken things off. Now, one of the first things that Apupan was entrusted with was a plant in collaboration with a Japanese manufacturer. This was on the next couple of pictures, you'll probably get an idea. Okay, before that, let's go to the Apupan's personal front. Now, after Allen, you can see his first car. This was a vintage Fiat car back in the day. Very, you can see this and the ambassadors very often in India. And this was the car in which he used to, meet Amuma during their courtship days. That's my beautiful grandmother, Ambi Amuma. She's the daughter of Mr. Vasu Pillai, who was the Assistant Commissioner of Excise, and Srimati Chennamma. Apupan Amuma married in 1961, long time, 1961, and you can see the start of their beautiful, blissful partnership. They really, not just for us, but I'm sure for many of you all, are a role model couple, couple that all of us look up to, all of us really idolize as human beings. As there you have Apupan Amuma with his Vaikim family. And this is the extended Vaikim family. You can see.
Sorry, this is the Vaikim family, Achan side of the family. Achan's sister is here, Radha Kujamma. And we are also fortunate to have several other people. Kannan, let's see. But Coimbatore Kannan is a very favorite nephew of Achin's, Lakshmi Chechi Chandu Chetan. Can we request them to please stand up? Mani Chetan, Devi Chechi. So these are the people from daddy's side of the family. I hope I understand, buddy, whom we are lucky to have here. So thank you so much.
Where again, where many of us have very fond memories of the house by the lake. Apupan's two Apupan's sisters are here. Many of us have had very fond memories. You can see Achan Kanamavan, Vasna Perama, Indira, Mama, a lot of people out here. And here you have the four Champakulam three sisters. If you can just go to the next slide. This is, as I was mentioning, the courtship days of Apupan Amma. He used to drive in his Fiat and from Kundra, drive all the way to Chagnasheri, where Apupan and they would have their romance by the canals of Chagnasheri. That is the couple. The reason we have this tagline is because the Wills, the civil company back in the day, had a... And this is again... so going after the personal professional journey, one of the first assignments, as I was mentioning earlier, was our erection factory, which was commissioned by Alan in just after he came back from Japan. So this was Mr. V.D. Giri, who was the governor of Kerala back in the time, and several dignitaries who visited the plant. Now about this steel wire plant in Kundra, one of the first managerial assignments Apupan had was to build up this plant and do it within a certain time and budget, which was very challenging back in the day. And it so happened that Apupan finished this not only within the budget, but a month ahead of the schedule. Right? This is the inauguration of the steel wire factory, where a lot of dignitaries like V.D. Giri, the former Congress leader and governor of Kerala, was attending. And here you have Giri attending the inauguration of the plant. So his reputation in his early days really went up after he completed this well ahead of schedule and well within the budget, which really added to his reputation within the company. This is with many of his colleagues who he has very fond memories of. And Alan was really like a family from everything he has told me, and he's got a huge amount of global exposure as well working with Alan. This was in his US journey, where he was selected by the National Productivity Council. He was one among only 14 people all across the country to be selected for this journey. And he had experience of visiting American friends and family members living with American families during his US journey. This is just after the steel plant I was talking about, Kundra, was inaugurated, and he got a global exposure at the age of just 26. So in his mid-20s, he had already traveled to 2 continents and got a huge amount of exposure for that age. So in Alan, what was very well known back in the day was that it had a big global footprint. You had Japanese manufacturers collaborating with Alan. Here you have Nigerians coming in seeing the plant. After they went and saw the Alan plant, they were so impressed that eventually our plant, Alan factory, was put up in Nigeria itself. These are some of the Nigerian delegations who are visiting, which culminate, as I said, in a plant abroad. So we can't really go through all the footnotes, but what I'm just going through the pictures, trying to match the pictures with the things. Alan obviously he had a huge footprint, because when he joined Alan, the company had a turnover of around 50 lakhs, and when he left as managing director, the company had 100 crores turnover. So that really goes to show Apupan's influence there. This is with a French colleague who had come, Madame Bissell, whose husband was the manager of Alstom. Alstom had a partnership with Alan, and eventually they set up a factory. This is Ravi Uncle. I don't know if he's around. Is Ravi Uncle around? Please come out. Ravi Uncle is here, and he's been a big influence on Apupan's life, and he was one of the instrumental men behind this collaboration. This is again the Champakulam family. This is Mr. De La Salle, who is the Frenchman I was talking about. He He had come from Alstom, he was a manager of Alstom, and the two companies eventually had an agreement and they collaborated, and Mr. Delasar went on to become a director of Allen. So this is, Open had several awards back in the day, for his tremendous hard work and success which the company enjoyed. This is the former President of India, Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed. He received an award from the honorary president for export promotion. These are some of Open's proudest moments during his career days. This was the largest, Allen had done the largest export of conductors for the year 1971, and that's the reason why Open got this award from the honorary president. This is Pranab Mukherjee, who was at the time a Indian cabinet minister. Open has again got an award from Mr. Mukherjee, one of many awards which he has received during this time. Here you can see Mukherjee again, felicitating Open after a speech in one of the ceremonies. Now the interesting part is that a few decades later, Open's son-in-law, my father, B.R. Balakrishnan, also received an award from the same Mukherjee when he was President of India. So it was really his family legacy playing itself out there. This is Open during his Allen days. Allen, as many of you all know, was an extremely socially active place. The Allen had a lot of functions for its club members. It had a lot of playground areas. It had a lot of sports activities and cultural activities.